So Keyshawn has been going off recently. Keyshawn Davis, the current undefeated former world champion. He's a WBO lightweight champion, former. He's now fighting at 140. But he recently did an interview with Killer Cam and the guys there. Killer Cam, Cameron. Who the fuck is Killer Cam, bro? Cameron. And saying that he would stop Abdullah Mason. Now, Keyshawn Davis has been talking crazy in this interview, and I'm going to make separate videos about all the stuff he was talking about, but particularly what he was saying about Abdullah Mason. He's saying that he would stop Abdullah Mason. And I'm thinking, damn, Abdullah Mason's the undefeated world champion, just beat Sam Noakes. He's no scrub. But then Keyshawn went on to explain that, Abdullah gets hit a lot, and he wouldn't be able to take the shots from Keyshawn Davis that he would be taking, right? Because Keyshawn sits down in his shots. We saw that in the fight against Jermaine Ortiz. Keyshawn sits down in his shots, and he bangs. But he's more defensively responsible than a Abdullah Mason, even though I wouldn't say he's particularly defensively responsible. You get guys like Shakur or Devin who actually are like defense-first boxers. Keyshawn is good defensively, but he's just not defense first, if that makes sense. Whereas Shakur and Devin will not sit down on their shots and not be happy being a stationary opponent. But Keyshawn's like, I hit so hard and so fast, I can sit down on my shots and throw these shots and land clean on you and get you out of there and do some serious damage to you. And he's saying basically what he would do to Abdullah Mason, because he would start landing on Abdullah Mason pretty early on in that fight, and he wouldn't stop until Abdullah Mason was out of there. Keyshawn made a good point. He said, do you think he can keep taking these? And he was referencing his hands. Probably not. If I'm being honest, Keyshawn probably could stop Abdullah Mason. And Abdullah Mason is no scrub. Like I said, he's an undefeated world champion. A guy who just beat Sam Noakes in a very competitive fight. Went to war with Sam Noakes. Took Sam Noakes' best shot. But ultimately, I do think, Keyshawn's bigger. And Keyshawn punches harder, most likely. I think Keyshawn does hit harder than Sam Noakes, especially at 140. Keyshawn at 140, he's got venom in his shots. Right? And of course, Abdullah Mason is that WBO world champion now. That used to be Keyshawn's belt. It's now Abdullah Mason. So Keyshawn's probably thinking, yeah, he's got a bit of a right to that. Obviously, he missed weight, so he got stripped of the championship and then moved up to 140. But he never got beat for that belt, which is why Keyshawn's probably feeling a bit of a type of way about it, and probably why he's mentioning Abdullah Mason and thinks he can beat him, and thinks he can beat him is probably right, because he probably can. He probably can quite easily beat him. Not easily, I don't want to say easily, because Abdullah Mason's no scrub. Abdullah Mason can definitely take a shot, and he can dish out his own shots as well. Abdullah Mason, similar to Keyshawn Davis, a guy who will go out there and sit down on his shots from the first round. Like Keyshawn. Unlike the likes of Shakur and Devin Haney, Abdullah Mason's going to go out there like Keyshawn Davis, sit down on his shots and let it go. But if we're saying it purely from a statistical point of view, where two guys are in the pocket, who do I fancy to exit that pocket and win the fight and leave those exchanges successfully more? I'm going to say Keyshawn Davis. Purely off the eye test. Because neither guy's got... It's not like Abdullah Mason's resume is way better than Keyshawn Davis's. Abdullah Mason, yeah, he's got more experience, more fights, more wins naturally. But it's not like Abdullah Mason's been fighting these super high-level guys back to back for years now. Do you know what I mean? His biggest win is that Sam Noakes win. Right? But, yeah, honestly, when I heard Keyshawn say what he said, I was like, damn, that's kind of facts. It's kind of facts, bro, because he probably wouldn't be able to take those shots, because Keyshawn can bang, bro. Keyshawn lands big, hard punches to dudes, bro. And he lands them often. So, yeah, be curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. If this fight was to ever get made, assuming it'd be at 140, I don't assume Keyshawn's going to be going back down to 135 again. But if Abdullah Mason moves up to 140, what incentive is there to make that fight? Because Abdullah Mason isn't a champion at 140. Maybe if Keyshawn's a champion at 140, you can have the lightweight champion move up to super lightweight, and that's a big fight. But Keyshawn has to win a belt first, and he probably will. Within the next couple of fights, he'll be fighting for a belt, unless he himself moves up again, and that's a separate video that I'm going to talk about. Keyshawn talking about moving up to 147. But yeah, Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.